Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is a recording on Sunday, April the 26th, 2026. Yesterday was the draw for both of the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby. I'm CC Broadus, and I'm joined by Dan Cronin of FatBallGuyRacing.com. We've been doing this now for about 3 weeks, and now we're less than 1 week from the big day. But Dan, first, let's talk about this Kentucky Oaks draw. Now, personally, for me, I made a decision not to let the Oaks draw ever affect my handicapping ever again because I let two really good horses go because they drew the outside post. Pretty Mischievous and Monomoy Girl both ran lights out in the Oaks, and I was left holding the bag because I kicked them out because the post was so bad. So I'll never do that again. With that said, what are your initial thoughts on this Kentucky Oaks draw?
Yeah, I wouldn't let the post position in the Oaks really affect you much. I think it probably hurt Zany a little bit being in the two hole. Explorer is going to have to go from the rail. I don't really know if she wants to be sent that hard, but she's going to be sent. She has to be, or she'll be dead. So the one and two are probably the two posts I wouldn't want. But other than that, I mean, Percy's Bar drawing the 11, I think that's perfect for her. Prom Queen in the 10's perfect. Even Bella Ballerina from the 12. I mean, if she's going to break, she's going to break. She's going to get over. She's going to be in that 2 or 3 path. There'll be nobody in front of her other than a couple little speed horses that are going to quit. If she's good enough, I don't think the post will hurt her. I'm not wild about her, but the post is not going to hurt her, is what I mean. And then the horse that, most of us are starting to draw to, meaning drawing the 5. I mean, it should be fine. I mean, she's got to break, in a big field, you got to break. If she breaks tardy, then she could really get hammered. But if she breaks well and sits in that fifth, sixth, seventh area, she'll be fine. So yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it's that big of a deal in the Oaks, especially when you have a couple horses that I don't think have any chance, like Pashmina and Battle Rouge and Brooklyn Blonde and Dazzling Dame. I don't think any of them horses will affect anything. So I wouldn't talk whoever you liked. I would not talk you off over post position.
Have you had a chance to maybe judge the pace scenario in the Oaks this year?
I think it'll be average. I don't think it'll be blazing fast, but I think it's more to go. And is it My Miss Mo? I think, and probably Dazzling Dame from the 7 holes going to gun out of there. I think it'll be honest because of Explorer drawing the inside. She's going to have to go. So that'll make it to where I think it'll spread out a little bit down the backside, and uh, it'll be perfect, I think, for Percy's Bar and Prom Queen because they'll all kind of fan out a little bit on that first turn, and they'll be able to get over.
Okay, immediately after the Oaks draw was the Kentucky Derby draw, and we're going to have a full field of 20 plus four also eligibles. So it's almost a guarantee that we'll have a full gate of 20 on Saturday. Uh, Obviously, the focal point of the draw, it seems, was the morning line favorite Renegade draws the rail, and I know a few people on social media says the draw doesn't matter anymore, but I tend to disagree, and I don't think this helps Renegade's chances at all.
Yeah, I'm with you. I downgraded him from the third horse on my sheet to the fifth horse. I just and I don't think he's favored. I don't think he will go favored. I think DRF did the right thing, flipping him and making him second choice. And I think at post time, I will be very surprised if he's the favorite because so many people are against the 1 hole for so many years. I can't imagine this horse going favorite. I just can't. I think he's going to be 4.5 to 1 now. And I think Further Ado is going to slightly end up the favorite. And I think Further Ado won the draw in the 8th hole. I know, think that's crazy, but I'm convinced Mr. Scratch is going to scratch a few of these. Last year he got 5 of them, 5. So I think A couple are going to end up getting scratched. Further ado is going to end up in about the 16 post. And again, that's going to be perfect. He's outside all the speed. Nobody's going to bother him. All he's got to do is break and slowly get over. Same thing Smarty Jones did. The same thing American Pharoah did. You know, there's been so many horses. Even I'll have another eased his way over. And he's going to get one of those type of trips, I think. And if he's good enough, he'll be right there. If he's not, then, you know, it happens. But I think the Puma in the 9 holes fine. Commandment in the 6 holes fine. Chief Wallaby, I think he won the draw in the 12. The problem with the 12 hole now is when they had the auxiliary gate, you had that big gap to where you had about, 5 yards maybe between the last horse of the first gate and the first horse of the second gate. So anybody that came flying over from the 2019, 18, 17, they didn't crush those horses because they had room to come over. Well, now with one gate, if one horse in that 15 to 20 come over, and I think Pavlovian's going to come rushing over, I think Six Speed's going to come rushing over. If one of those horses goes and then comes over too fast, it could affect all those horses in that 10 to 14 area, and they could really smash each other. And if you watch the last few derbies, it's happened. So it's really key that Chief Wallaby breaks and gets out of that mess quickly, and then he'll be fine. But if he breaks a half a step slow, he could get. So I'm a little nervous on Chief Wallaby being in the 12 hole, although it could be a great thing. Uh, the draw. I had to degrade him a little bit. From the 20 hole, could he still hit the board? Yeah, but I don't know how much I want to use him in real tickets other than, tries and supers. I think Golden Tempo lost the draw. I was going to use him in a lot of tries and supers to come flying and hit that third and fourth hole. And now for the 19 and 20 post with no speed, they're going to have to drop all the way back to be able to get over. And I think that really hurts their chances. So Renegade, I think, really got hurt, Golden Tempo, and Full Effort. So, yeah, I think the post position draw really affected some horses I was going to use.
For me personally, I mean, I think Further Adu's probably going to be my top pick. I think he probably drew really well. I don't really, I don't love 18, but when he's got two speeds to his inside, I think he can just follow them all the way to the first turn, maybe be no
Yep.
more than 3 wide going into that first turn. So I think, and lastly, what about a pace scenario here in this Derby? To me, I think it's almost virtually assured that we're going to have it at the worst a solid Derby tempo.
Yeah, I think you're looking at 46 flat, 46 and 1. I think it's going to be solid because 6 speed has only one way to go, and so does Pavlovian. They're both going to go. They have no other way to go. And you know how Mike Smith is. He's going to send, he's on So Happy, correct? So he's going to send from the 8 hole. He knows he's got to beat that mass of humanity. He's going to put his head down and he's going to go. He always does. I mean, he was on Palace Malice. He was on Meister. He is going to send. So when you got those three all into the first turn, I bet on this horse earlier in the year, and I thought he'd be in front in 2 straight races, and he wasn't anywhere close. So maybe they're putting the blinkers on for a reason, and they're going to try to send him. Um, he's in the 4 hole. He's got to send. So I think he's going to go from the inside. Those other horses are going to come caving over from the outside. I think Dan and Bourbon's going to go from the 7 hole. So I think you're going to get a solid pace, 46, 46 and change. And it'll set it up for the better horses. And they're all going to be, the Puma's going to be in that mid-flight. Further Ado, I think, will be a little bit more forward. Commandment will be back a little bit from the 6 hole. Wallaby, I mean, he could be 7, 8, 9, or he could get buried and end up 15th. So they're all going to have to come running, but I think the pace will be solid for all those, the Puma, Commandment, Wallaby, Renegade, Full Effort, Golden Tempo. They're all going to come, Silent Tactic. They're all going to come from way back. Uh, and I think the 6 furlong pole is when all, I call it the cheap speed, starts the sinister ministers are going to start backing up. And we've got 3 or 4 of those that are all going to start backing up, and they'll all be flying.
All right. That wraps up our opinions on this year's Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks draw. Be sure to like and subscribe. Check out fatballguyracing.com. Listen to the Auxiliary Gate podcast. We'll be doing our free Kentucky Derby seminar soon. Also, in the comments below, list who you like in this year's Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks. On behalf of Dan Cronin, I'm CC Broadus. Let's have a great Derby week.